Chapter 3: The Culture. The oldest. Between AD 1100 to 1200, Cahokia, a Native American city in what is now Illinois, had a population of 10,000 to 20,000. That makes it the oldest city in the country. The first professional baseball team was organized in Ohio. It was called the Cincinnati Red Stockings. The first mall was built in Edina, Minnesota. The world's largest indoor mall, the Mall of America, is near Minneapolis, Minnesota. The world's first Ferris wheel was built by George Ferris for the 1893 Columbian Exposition in Chicago. The biggest carvings of any statue in the world are in South Dakota. Mount Rushmore National Memorial shows the faces of 4 American presidents. The head of George Washington is 60 feet high. Cahokia Mounds. Illinois is as flat as a pancake except where we are headed. We're going to visit the Cahokia Mounds. It was the largest prehistoric Native American community north of Mexico. Cahokia once included over 100 mounds, many of them used for important buildings, temples, and homes for the leaders. Cahokia was first settled around AD 700. It started to decline slowly in the 1200s and was finally abandoned by 1400. Great big monuments. We're going to see 4 famous guys in rock. Can you guess who they are? What if I told you their names are Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln? We're going to Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills of South Dakota. A man with a very big dream carved this monument. Gutzon Borglum's dream was to carve an enormous sculpture into a mountain. He got his chance in South Dakota. George Washington's carved face is taller than a 5-story building. We're going to see an even bigger statue. When it's finished, it will be the biggest in the world. It's in these same hills. We're at the Crazy Horse Memorial. Crazy Horse was a great Lakota chief. All of the Black Hills and beyond was once Sioux territory. Even unfinished, this sculpture is amazing. The arm is nearly as long as a football field, and the face is 9 stories high. The large model shows what it will look like when it's done. No one can guess what it will be. Korczak Ziolski began it in 1948. Today, his family continues to work on it. A house of sod. Something you won't see anywhere on the plains are the homes of the first settlers. Do you know why they're all gone? A long time ago, they all melted away. No, they weren't made of ice. The summers are too hot here for that. The settlers' first homes were made of sod, the top layer of prairie dirt that is held together by grass and wildflower roots. Called soddies, these houses leaked mud when it rained. Bugs and even snakes lived in the dirt walls. But soddies had their good points too. They cost nothing to build, and they were warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and fireproof. A palace of corn. We're off to see the Palace of Corn now. No, it's not really built of corn. It's a tradition in the Corn Belt to decorate places with corn stalks and ears of corn at harvest time. Traditions are ways of doing things that are passed down from one generation to the next. The first corn palace was built in Iowa in 1887. We're going to see the Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. The palace is big enough to seat about 3,400 people. Green corn stalks and ears of corn in every color have been arranged to make beautiful patterns. It takes about 3,000 bushels of corn and grass to decorate the whole palace. Textile art. The people, land, and culture of the Midwest have been a great inspiration to many artists. Recently, a people called the Hmong have made Minnesota and Wisconsin their home. The Hmong came from a mountainous country in Asia called Laos. They brought many of their traditions with them. It's a Hmong tradition for girls and women to make textile art. My favorites are the story cloths. They really tell a story. Homecoming in Nicodemus. We're on our way to Nicodemus, Kansas. It's a tiny little town far from just about everything except the flat prairie it sits on. Today is the Emancipation Celebration. People are coming from Nicodemus as far away as California and New York. Do you know what emancipation means? It means freedom. That is what makes Nicodemus a special place. After the Civil War, hundreds of recently freed African Americans left the South and journeyed here to start a new life. Nicodemus was one of the first African American settlements in Kansas. Just about everyone in Nicodemus today is related in some way to those first African American settlers. So, the Emancipation Celebration is like a reunion for the whole town. It's a day to share stories about the past along with music, dancing, and food. The Indy 500. Now, let's go to one of the world's biggest automobile racing events, the Indy 500 in Indianapolis. Let's see just how fast these drivers can go. About 250,000 people are here for the races. Look at all the fast cars. They are called muscle cars because their engines are so big and strong. But this is just the parking lot. Let's look at the cars inside. These cars are all specially built to run on an oval track. And talk about fast. These cars can go over 200 miles an hour. Everyone here has a favorite driver. Mine is Sarah Fisher. In 1999, she became the youngest person ever to pass the Indy Racing League rookie test. The Indy 500 is the end of our tour of the Midwest. What were some of your favorite sites? Which places would you like to visit again? The Midwest is a big region. There's a lot more to see, so come back and visit soon.